Continue our coverage now at the polls in Prince William County, Virginia, where polls just opened again just under 2 minutes ago, over 2 minutes ago at 6 a.m. That's where we find our Jacqueline Quinn at the Heritage Baptist Church in Woodbridge. And Jackie, people started lining up in the last 30 minutes there.
Yeah, you know what? I counted at least 20 people that were in line, but of course, right on the dot, that door opened, and right now, just one person actually moving and getting in to the polling place right now, but we're expecting a bit of a busy turnout here. And I spoke with some of the people that came out. A lot of them said, yeah, they have to go to work, so they got to get out here early. But yeah, they were out here before 6 o'clock. Now, we know that there were a couple of, there is a tight congressional race out here in this district, and Virginia also has 13 electoral votes, so the turnout really matters, and that's why I'm going to bring in the chief of this precinct here. This is Robin Williams, and, you know, I had talked a little bit earlier about some of the precincts. Some people like to do it earlier in those other locations, but not this one. Some are old-fashioned, and we're expecting a busy time here, right?
Typically, we see about 70 to 75% for a presidential election. We're about 35% turnout at this precinct. People do like to show up, though, on election day, and you'll see that some will show up here to drop off their mail-in ballot because they haven't sent it yet, and some will actually come in and surrender that ballot and then actually want to vote on the machine. So it depends, but we do have an electorate here that likes to show up and vote.
Okay. And so now tell me a little bit about this decision. The Supreme Court had ruled that, yes, the state can remove people that they suspect are non-citizens. But if there are any issues or maybe a person feels that was improperly done, what can people do and what do they need to bring with them, right?
So what they should do is show up to the precinct, and what we can do is file a provisional ballot for them. The provisional ballot will go to the Electoral Board, and the Electoral Board will then evaluate whether or not they should have been allowed to stay on the ballot, but they should bring a photo ID or some other form of identification to help us out, and then we'll fill out that thing, and they fill out a ballot. The ballot goes, and then the board will decide whether or not they're going to allow that registration in that ballot itself.
And really quick, you can get a ballot and you do a digital here. I haven't stepped inside. Tell me about that really quick.
Everything in Virginia now is pretty much a paper ballot. However, the ballot is scanned by the election machines that we have from a company called Hart. And we've tested those machines both when they were type accepted, when we first selected them, probably about 8 years ago, as well as for every election. When there's a new ballot put into them, they run what's called a logic and accuracy test. And then there is a random afterwards. But it's digital. So you're going to fill out a paper form. There's a paper record. You scan that in there, and then we can audit those paper records afterwards.
Thank you so much for letting us know. I really appreciate your time. And again, here you have until 7 p.m. to cast that ballot. And as we just said, if you're in line, stay in line so that you can get your ballot counted. For now, we'll send it back to you guys.